How are you doing today? I hope you are good. Me, I'm doing all right. Cold has started. I think I've said it in one video before that it's like we have entered winter over here, and I don't do well in the cold. But it's all right. I'm inside and it's a little bit warm. That's why I'm not covered. But hope you are doing well. Anyway, I've asked that question before. Oh, Chimo. Anyway, I came to tell you people a story. You people like story time. Chai! Look at their faces. Look at their faces. Look at their ears. Chai! Look at you people's ears. It's standing. Always standing. Immediately you hear story time to just chai. So, this particular story is a story time / testimony time. Remember that day? There was a day I was telling the story of how I broke my teeth, and I said that I got the idea of something else. Yeah, this is it right here. So I can't remember the year that this incident happened, but it's a story of how God saved me from accidents. Yes. So that time, my parents were not in the country. My parents were in the US that time when this thing happened, and I felt like going to Lagos. Besides, school was out. By that I mean that we were on a break. So I decided to go to Lagos. So that morning, when I was leaving my father's house in the village, I remember that when my aunt, one of my great aunts that live with us, when she and my cousin came to see me off to tell me bye, one evil thought came to my mind, and I heard something like, "You're not going to see these people again." Hey. And immediately I heard that voice, I started to bind it immediately. I said to counter that thought immediately. I started saying things like, "God forbid, I'm going to see them again. I'm going to have a safe trip. I'm going to get to Lagos safely and in one piece." I shall pray a very short prayer. And before I continue, let me tell you something. If you have evil thoughts like this, like if the devil whispers evil thoughts like this to you, don't take it lightly. Don't just ignore and just move on. You must say a prayer right there and then. This is an advice. You must counter it. You must counter that evil confession that the devil snuck into your mind. Because that devil is very cunning. He sneaks it into your mind. And then if you dwell on it, you're kind of calling it forth. I don't know the word to use. You're kind of attracting it. So you're meant to counter it immediately. Even if it's a very short prayer, it can be short and powerful. Like I prayed, I just said countering it immediately, that God forbid bad thing. I'm going to see them again. I'm going to go to Lagos. I'm going to get there in peace. I'm going to get there in one safely and soundly. I shall prayed. And then I got to the park. What's the name of that transport again? It wasn't the Young. It was Chisco. It was Chisco Transport. So, and I chose Chisco Transport that day because they have a park on our streets in Lagos. So I felt it was going to be easy for me. I'll just get down, enter bike and go home. So I entered the Chisco bus. I like to sit by the window. And I was sitting like three seats, the third seat, from the front. So I sat by the window. And I remember that there was this lady that came in with her newborn baby. This newborn baby I'm not sure that baby was up to a month old. So I think, some women actually go to the east to give birth to their babies. Maybe some hospitals that they are comfortable with in the east or wherever. I think the woman came to the east to give birth, and then she was now going back to her base in Lagos with her newborn baby. And when immediately I saw this woman and her newborn baby entering the bus, I prayed again and told God that even if it is for the sake of this newborn baby, save everybody in this bus. That was what I said. And then your girl fell asleep. The bus started moving. I remember I slept very quickly because the night before my trip, most times I like to stay awake so that I would sleep through the trip. So that by the time I'll be waking up, I don't really like road trip, I like to sleep through it. So I slept. Just after Head Bridge, I remember that I think It was at Asaba. This thing happened at Asaba. At Asaba, yeah. From my sleep, I heard a loud explosion. It sounded like gunshots. Why? Like 2 or 3 loud explosions. And then it jolted me out of my sleep. Do you know that immediately my eyes opened, I noticed that our bus, luxury bus, I didn't specify that it was a luxury bus that I entered. It wasn't a small bus. Luxury bus. Bosca. Our Bosca was speeding straight. As in, if you see the speed, apparently the sound, that wah sound we heard was the tires burst. The 2 front tires burst. So the Bosca was now speeding. Me, I woke up, and somebody that, when you're jolted out of sleep like that, you're in shock, plus the sound and everything. And then I noticed that this bus was speeding straight down, and then the people in front of me were running to the back of the bus. Me, I was still sitting there wondering what is going on. And then our bus left. You know how the highway is now, the highway of those going to Lagos, and then the one of those going back to the east. And you know that those highways are usually demarcated either by a small wall, or by a deep gutter, or by just grass, just like a low, as in grass. So as God will have it, it was grass that demarcated the 2 highways where we were, at that point where we were. So our bus left our lane that is supposed to be heading back to Lagos, and then entered the lane of those heading to the east, and it was still speeding. The driver had lost control. That's the thing. The thing is that the driver had lost control. So he was just speeding. And then as he was speeding, he was trying to control the bus. And then there was a trailer coming in front of us. Our driver managed to swerve away from the trailer. We were now heading to the bush. Before we got to the bush, at the edge of the bush, our bus stopped. And all that while, I was still sitting there. I was still in shock. I didn't know what was going on, even though I saw people running to the back of the bus. I think at a point it dawned on me that it's an accident, but I was paralyzed with shock and fear. So the bus stopped. Everybody picked race. Everybody wanted to jump out of the bus. They thought maybe it would explode or something. When we now all rushed out of the bus, we now saw that the tires had torn into pieces. In fact, it was the rim we were running on. It was the rim that the bus was moving on. So everybody came down. Hey, if you see people, they mad. Some people were kneeling down, bowing down on the expressway. Their head was touching not the expressway, by the side, their head was touching the floor. They were just there thanking God. I came down. I was in shock. I was like, is this how people die? Like, is this how accidents used to occur? Just like that? Just like that? Like, I was numb for some time. Then we now brought out our luggages and everything. And then we now stayed there. This thing happened in the morning. It wasn't even yet 10 a.m. when this thing happened. So we were now by the roadside waiting for Chisco. The driver now called their office and told them what happened, so that they would send another bus to come pick us up. Do you know that these people, it took them hours. It took them up to 4 hours to send us a bus. And then the bus they sent was already filled with people. So we had to find parts of the bus to patch, like attach, all this attached thing. We now patched on it. I got to Lagos that day around 10 p.m. And I remember calling my parents to tell them what happened. How God saved me from accidents on my way to Lagos. I remember, there was one girl in that bus. I don't know her from anywhere. I think she came from I think Besos, one of those schools in Enugu. She was going to Lagos from there. Do you know that this girl, her parents did not know she was going to Lagos? Like, it was so funny to me. Her parents did not know she was going to Lagos. So this girl, that bus that now came to take us to Lagos, we entered. Her mom was in that bus. I kid you not. Her mom was in that bus. This girl, I think that girl, she's used to that type of life. She can lie. She's that kind of person that can lie on their feet. There's always lie at the tip of her tongue. Immediately, she claimed that we were going to Lagos. That she claimed that I'm her classmate. One man there with us. I think the man was chiking her. One middle-aged man that was chiking her when we were there waiting for bus. She now claimed that man is our lecturer, that we were going for field trip to Lagos, and her mom believed her. Or maybe her mom did not believe her because her mom maybe she knows the kind of daughter she has. Maybe she knew that the girl was lying, but that was what she told her mom. I was like, oh my God, as in, it was just so somehow. Anyway, I remember thinking in my mind that, so what if we had died in that accident? Her parents will not know where she was. They will not know. That's how they'll say their daughter had disappeared. They didn't, because they assumed that this girl was in school. They assumed that she was in school. We now saw her mom. And then that tire that burst, I remember that period, they said that there were a lot of fake tires. They imported, I don't know which company again, that imported a lot of fake tires, and tires were always exploding on the highway like that. A lot of tires were exploding on the highway. So it happened that our boss had one of those tires, two of those tires, because I remember that it was the two front tires that exploded. It was a horrible experience, and that was the last time I've ever been in something that looks like an accident, and God knows that I will never be again in my life. And even you that is watching this video, accident is not your portion. Say amen. I'm serious. So accident is not your portion. You will never be involved in an accident, whether you are traveling by road or by air or by however or okada. Accident is not your portion. You will not be found in an accident. You will not die in an accident. Accident is not your portion. So guys, that is it. That's the story I remembered that day and decided to share. And I remember that the reason why I remembered that story was that I was trying to tell people how I was going to Lagos, and then I got to Lagos and broke my teeth. So that time, it made me remember this story of something else that happened when I was on my way to Lagos. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing, because I know that you already subscribed before you got to this point. I know that you subscribed. You're so nice. It's God that will bless you for me. Thank you so much for subscribing. Stay safe, guys. Stay blessed, and we're gonna see ourselves in the next video. Bye.